Number 10. Just how possessed are these animatronics? As FNAF has become more than just a slasher story involving murderous animatronics, and we've gotten lost in the lore, we've learned about just why these vengeful animatronics are out for blood, and why they're really obsessed with, well, stuffing you inside another animatronic. It has less to do with believing you as the player are an endoskeleton, and more to do with revenge. It turns out many of the animatronics we've seen contain souls, and as such likely contain a specific magical ingredient or component known as remnant, which gives them life. Remnants sort of act like a soul or consciousness transfer even, if you want to transfer the life energy of an animatronic to another, after depowering or gutting one. The revelation of remnant made us ponder just what William Afton's motive may have been for murdering those children. Was it more of a mad science experiment than perhaps a cold-blooded killing? But also the knowledge that souls are trapped within the animatronics and some of their behavior as a result also has left us wondering just how much of that person's consciousness remains trapped, and how much of it becomes twisted into something new. Is Circus Baby Elizabeth, or is Elizabeth gone and her soul just gave life to something new? Or is it more of a melding of the animatronic, its desires, and that of the person's soul, who is being trapped and has also become somewhat twisted in the process? Number 9. What does the sister location and FNAF 4 connection mean? In sister location, once you unlock the private room and thus the more traditional bonus survival night, it's possible for you to discover a pretty insane Easter egg which also connects the story of FNAF 4 to the sister location of Circus Baby's entertainment and rental directly. There are monitors in the room that are specifically turned off. However, if you enter the room and on the keypad in the room enter the numbers 1983, 1983, you will turn on the monitors or television screens. However, you'll notice they don't seem to be surveying the Circus Baby entertainment and rental place. Instead, they seem to be monitoring the home from FNAF 4. Well, what does this mean? That obviously whoever has been normally stationed in this room has been monitoring the child we played as in FNAF 4 and in that home. But maybe they've been watching for animatronic activity. Maybe they're keeping an eye on the child we played as part of an experiment. But the other question becomes, if FNAF 4 took place in 1983, just how long ago was someone monitoring this home? Are they still monitoring it, or are these some old recordings? And then we get into the question of the timeline, which is, well, it's its own video. Let's be real. Number 8. Are the nightmare animatronics real? So another question which kind of spins out of the previous, if the FNAF 4 location is being monitored, are the nightmare animatronics real? Or were they figments of our imagination when we played as the child from FNAF 4? Some have theorized that in FNAF 4 we play as the crying child who's experiencing nightmares while in a coma after being bitten, and that the nightmare animatronics represent death. However, if the house was really being monitored, is it possible that the child was actually experiencing what we saw when we played? Could the nightmare animatronics be real and the child was part of some kind of experiment that was testing them out? Would this still be the crying child in that case, or could this even be someone else that we're playing as in that game? Which would kind of be weird because the mini games are in it, but it could be possible. If the nightmare animatronics are real, why were they created? And will we see more of them later on? Were they designed for a more horror-themed location, a Halloween event, or perhaps do they have some more sinister purpose? Number 7. How much of this is real? We're not even just talking about nightmare animatronics here. We are talking about all the games. In FNAF VR Help Wanted, the introduction of the game implies that Help Wanted itself is a game that exists within the world of FNAF lore. So we're playing a game that also exists within the narrative, a game within the FNAF game universe. But it's also alluded to that there have possibly been previous games that were built around the stories, the legends of Freddy's and the Fazbear Entertainment franchise, and that these stories embellished as to the true tragedies behind the business. So have we been playing games that are the true scenario, or are there meant to be games within the universe that embellished on those true scenarios? How much of the story has been told in meta, and how much of the narrative have we genuinely seen and lived through? Are we still in the Matrix? Number 6. Will the Stitch Wraith appear in the games? The Stitch Wraith is a character from the books. We've seen them appear in each one of the Fazbear Frights novels and received more insight into their story since their first appearance. They seem to be a mad science creation, kind of a Frankenstein monster, whose purpose is to collect various artifacts infected with rage. They pop up now and then to add to their collection of possessed and bizarre bits and bobs, belonging to various animatronics and Fazbear toys. What we have learned is that at least 2 souls possess the Stitch Wraith and drive it towards its purpose: Jake and Andrew. By gathering these artifacts and components, the souls work towards freeing both of themselves from the Stitch Wraith's body, but exactly how remains unknown. It's also unknown exactly how Jake and Andrew could potentially fit into the lore outside of this one story, or why Andrew just had so much rage and so many objects that he managed to infuse with his rage. We also don't know yet if the Stitch Wraith will or is ever meant to appear in the games to connect the being with the main FNAF lore narrative. Number 5. Where is Michael and Elizabeth Afton's mother? Bringing a whole new meaning to the phrase, do you know where your kids are? Michael and Elizabeth Afton's mother has yet to be seen or really talked about in FNAF lore. Oh sure, we all have theories. Many suspect that Ballora is some form of mother stand-in or symbol meant to represent William Afton's wife, or that Clara from The Immortal and the Restless is meant to be an allusion to her or her absence, but we haven't learned anything concrete really yet. Is she dead or just absent? Why did she leave William and her children? Or is it possible William left her? I mean, what does she even look like? Was she involved in the family business of Freddy's and animatronics, or has she been gone from the start? This is one of those unanswered questions that just leaves more questions when it comes to Mrs. Afton's potential involvement or lack thereof in the storyline. Number 4. What was Circus Baby's true purpose? Near the end of Pizzeria Simulator, Scrap Baby says something kinda interesting that makes us wonder what exactly she was made for, or what exactly she thinks she was made for at least. Scrap Baby is the worn down version of Circus Baby, and though her appearance is somewhat different, it's implied that Scrap Baby was of course once the Circus Baby that we met in Sister Location. This isn't like FNAF World, where it was implied that there might be more than one animatronic that was built in this model or style. At the end of the game, Scrap/Circus Baby says, "You played right into our hands. Did you really think this job just fell out of the sky for you? No, this was a gift. For us. You gathered them all together in one place, just like he asked you to. All of those little souls in one place. Now we can do what we were created to do and be complete. I will make you proud, Daddy. Watch, listen, and be full." What exactly was Circus Baby created for? What did her father, William Afton, want her to do? Is that who she's referring to when she says daddy? Is this Circus Baby or Elizabeth talking, or is it both? What does she mean when she says be full? This revelation really does lead to more questions than answers. Number 3. Who is the crying child? There have been a few theories that have tried to answer this question, but the confirmed and verified answer still remains unknown. The survival logbook has led us to believe that the crying child may in fact have been Michael Afton, who somehow survived the life-threatening bite. But it's also been theorized that the crying child could be another third Afton child, and that Michael perhaps was the foxy masked older brother who often teased and made fun of Crying Child throughout the minigames. The weird and convoluted timeline have left us with more questions as to answers about this mystery, and while many remain passionate about certain theories explaining the identity of the child, we haven't seen anything explicitly confirmed in-game just yet. Number 2. Is William Afton really dead? It seemed at the end of Pizzeria Simulator that all animatronics had been gathered, trapped, and burned alive, and yet it's also been implied that some of these animatronics managed to survive the fire and live on. Even when we think there is some kind of finite ending awaiting us for this horrific story, it has a tendency to push forward and continue on. The existence of Glitchtrap even implies that if William Afton's body and spirit within Springtrap were eliminated, that his consciousness may have managed to live on digitally within the game Help Wanted. And it's likely that if this is true, William will attempt to escape the digital realm and move back into the real world once more. Number 1. Why does William Afton kill? So, we know that William Afton is a killer at this point. He's murdered a handful of children, likely more, and it's been implied that him crafting the Freddy's franchise was all to lure children to their doom. But we have also learned that he is a father to Elizabeth and Michael. In fact, one of his animatronics even killed Elizabeth. This makes us wonder if he has children. Why would he want to kill his children? And why did he want to kill Elizabeth? Or was that just some kind of accident? Did he make these animatronics to kill, or was that some kind of malfunction? Is he really the one motivated to kill? Or Is he possessed by an evil spirit or a demon, which drives him to kill? Perhaps William Afton is as much a victim here as he is a murderer.
And at 10, what's going on with the movie? The FNAF movie has been in talks for a long time. Honestly, I didn't even know when this thing was announced, but the FNAF movie has been floating in the air for ages. The most recent update was just matpat on Twitter talking to the creator of Blumhouse, who is the production company behind the movie, as well as movies like Paranormal Activity. But other than that, we only know that the script has been written and keeps getting rewritten, at least from my research. We don't know if this is the story of the games or the books, we don't know any casting, we don't know if matpat's involved, we don't know any story, there's no trailer, we have nothing to go on, but we're still waiting patiently. And the pandemic doesn't help. Everything got pushed back, so it's impossible to know what's happening, especially when Scott won't let us know. And at 9, when will Security Breach release? Security Breach was recently announced at the PS5 event that happened last month. However, we only got a cinematic trailer, which was just a load of panning backwards throughout certain rooms, but we never got a release date. I estimate that the game will release around December 12th, since it's exactly 87 days after the trailer released. Since we all know Scott loves to play with dates, especially those with the numbers 8 and 7, since FNAF 2 came out exactly 87 days after FNAF 1. But that date also just so happens to be exactly 1 month after the PS5 launch. That, however, is all we have to go off of. Just like with most of the series, it's all speculation. Sure, it's educated speculation, but we have no evidence and there haven't been any more teasers since that trailer, at least video ones with the potential release date.
Gregory, I may have lost my temper earlier, but it was just a glitch. It won't happen again.
And at 8, who is the game developer? In FNAF Help Wanted, the latest game in the series, we learn about the rogue indie game developer who made the FNAF games in Universe. He was confirmed to exist in Universe and looks like Scott, but Scott confirmed that, well, yes, he used his own picture, the character isn't him. It's another character in Universe that just looks like him, but that means that we have no idea who they are. Is their name Matthew Patrick, like good old matpat, or could it be the Matt from Bunny Call, the one who was designing a FNAF VR game called Springtrap's Revenge? Or could it just be Scott and he's throwing us off? I mean, it's not that big of a question, but getting the answer to this could also help us get the answer to more questions from the series. If it's Scott, why would he lie? If he's matpat, what does that mean for the series? And if he's meant to be Matt from Bunny Call, could we expect a Springtrap's Revenge game in the future? All good questions, but none are on this list. And at 7, what is William's plan? We all know that William is somehow in the form of Glitch Trap. He did something like latching his soul onto a motherboard or something along those lines. However, we don't know what his plan is to get out. William is a selfish man, that's why he's willing to kill. But we don't know what his plans on doing this while he's in game, or if he's planning to get out. We learned from Tape Girl that he's trying to escape through you. Some people say he's trying to swap with you and use your body to get out, but I've already proven that's not the case. And when he does merge with you, you can still play the game, indicating that he hasn't left into the real world. But we also know he's possessed Vanny, or is controlling her in some way. She's a reluctant follower after all. But William won't leave all the killing to someone he may not be able to control 100%. He would need to escape, but how could he do that? That's the question, and we have no idea. Perhaps we'll learn more on Security Breach. And at 6, are the Glamrock animatronics good? In the Security Breach trailer, we hear who is presumably Glamrock Freddy say that Vanny has found them being him and Gregory, assumingly the main character of the game. However, this begs the question, do we know for sure that they're good? The FNAF franchise has always shown the animatronics as the enemy, and the fact that they were created by Afton doesn't help the fact that they are probably evil. Sure, Afton didn't make these specific ones perhaps, but that doesn't mean they can't be corrupted just like Vanny was. I predict that these animatronics will help us throughout the game, but then turn on us at the last minute, potentially breaking Vanny out of her trance, but that could be totally false. We have no idea, and we won't know until the game comes out, because Scott will not tell us. Halfway through at number 5, what is the full timeline? The full timeline has been explored by multiple theorists multiple times, but that's all those are. Theories. Sure, we know specific things like the missing children's incident taking place in 1985 and the bite of 87 as well as 83, but other than some key dates, most of what we know is just a slew of assumptions and pieces that don't quite fit together. Honestly, it's impossible to find a series that has the world building as interesting as this, but also so complicated and obscure. It folds in on itself, it clashes with itself, and while matpat did an incredible job, I'm sure more things will be revealed that changes the way we look at the timeline yet again. Hell, even recently in the Fazbear Fright story The Man in Room 1280, we learned that William was being possessed by the spirit of a dead child, which kept him from dying. That's why this timeline is so complicated. We don't fully understand how this universe works, and the full timeline is yet to be figured out. And at 4, what games are in universe? We learned at the beginning, and more so through the tapes in FNAF VR Help Wanted, that a rogue indie game developer ended up making FNAF games in universe. universe. The confusing thing is that does this mean that we need to forget about the original FNAF games? The first 6 FNAF games could totally be forgotten about unless the games that were made in universe aren't the actual games we play. And just because the games are the same doesn't mean that they're fake. That was just thrown in to probably throw us off. The games are one of the biggest confusion points for me because we don't know what the games are and if it makes an impact on how we work the timeline. Like, why would this be a thing? Why, Scott? Why? Getting close to the end and at number 3, what is Stitch Wraith setting up? The Stitch Wraith is a character that was introduced and being set up in the epilogues of the Fazbear Frights books. The character was created and brought to life by Dr. Phineas Taggart while he was researching an intense human emotion of agony, and how it can allow objects to become possessed in the FNAF universe. But so far, we've only seen the Stitch Wraith in the books. Some people think that he'll appear in Security Breach, but from the trailer I doubt that's going to happen unless it's in the form of like a DLC like the Curse of Dreadbear. The Stitch Wraith is becoming a very important character, so it's possible he'll make an appearance, but just a minor one would probably be a waste, if it's not to set him up in the game universe at least. We just don't know what the introduction of the Stitch Wraith means for the games. And at 2, what is Glitch Trap? Glitch Trap is the main antagonist of FNAF VR Help Wanted, but we don't really know quite what he is. We know that he's a form of William Afton and most likely the first suit that he would wear to lure and absolutely obliterate children, but we don't quite know what he is in game. Is he a spirit that manifests in game and is able to later control you? Is he pure code that is somehow able to control parts of the game? Is he something else entirely? Did he swap places with our character? To me, I say no because we didn't see anyone with the headset on when we ended up merging with him, but plenty of people disagree. Did we actually merge with him? Does he shut us away in his brain? Is it our brain? Does he start controlling us? We know how he got into the game via William's spirit possessing a motherboard that was scanned for game code, but we don't know if Glitch Trap is code or a spirit. And we don't even know if he's able to escape. Finally, in at number 1, who is Vanny? We know that Vanny is a reluctant follower of Glitch Trap, probably some form of mind control, but we don't know who the woman behind the mask is. It could be Tape Girl, it could be someone we've never met, it could be the security guard from that Security Breach teaser oh so long ago, which would make sense given the title of the game. Possessing or controlling a security guard would absolutely constitute a security breach, but it could also be us. We know we play as a game tester in Help Wanted, and at the end of the game Glitch Trap merges with us, but is that him taking over our mind? Is that him stuffing us away into our own head? Are we Vanny? Are we Gregory's mother? Or someone else related to him? And is it the player who ends up becoming the reluctant follower? Well, we have no idea, and honestly Scott isn't going to tell us, at least until FNAF 15 is released, and he creates like a 4th timeline and someone who crosses through them all the time, thus showing us that every game takes place in its own timeline. Because you know, that's probably going to happen at this point. And at 10, Charlotte. Now, this is about the version of Henry's daughter from the games, but because of the parallels from the novels. Spoiler alert for the 4th closet, by the way, but I mentioned this enough times that it shouldn't really be a spoiler anymore. Charlie, as she's known in the novels, is revealed to be one in a series of 4 robots created by Henry after Charlie died at the age of 3, killed by William Afton. As a way to cope, he created 4 robots, each at a different stage of life, to simulate Charlie growing up, using a camera and tripod to make fake memories to install in each new model. What if Henry did something similar in the games though? We know that Charlotte goes on to possess the puppet, and we know that Henry learns this at some point, but what if before he learned about the possession, he created a robot version of his daughter, even if it's just the one version? It would explain why we see nothing about a murder outside the Fazbear joint in any newspaper or something in the games, because Henry never reported it so that he could recreate his daughter and then allow her to grow up, while working on setting her soul free. I mean, we see Baby with the pins that she has in the books, because she's also Charlie in the books, so I mean, And at 9, Tape Girl. This one is a little more rooted in concept than theory, although it is entirely still a theory. Tape Girl, whatever her real name is since none has officially been given, is the girl we listen to on the 16 tapes that we can find throughout FNAF VR, hence her name. The one who sealed Glitch Trap in the game by splitting him into 16 pieces, but then gets possessed or taken control of by Glitch Trap, causing her to give us false information that allows us to be assimilated as well. But how does that make any sense? How could computer code that got possessed then lead to an organic being possessed by code? It seems improbable, hence this idea. We know that the Afton virus is responsible for the FNAF AR animatronics going haywire thanks to emails we received throughout the game, and we think that the security breach animatronics are also under the influence of this virus, with the exception of Glamrock Freddy. So the virus has only been able to corrupt robotic beings when it wasn't Tape Girl. Does that mean that Tape Girl, and then by proxy our character in FNAF VR, are robots? And it ain't Phone Guy. Now, the phone guy has always seemed a little bit off to me. Not because we thought he was the purple guy or because we wanted him to be the killer, but because he's really dedicated to his job, making these training recordings while under the imminent threat of death just looming over him. And eventually, even right outside his door, literally. Like, why? If my life was at risk, I wouldn't be working, let alone filming these videos. And if there was literally banging on that door, so loud that you could hear it in the recording, I wouldn't be focused on giving you like the last few numbers. I wouldn't be focused on giving you the last hints for the night, saying I'll try to hold out in a safe room. I'd be doing everything in my power to survive. I'd be climbing out that window, pushing Chris towards the animatronics and booking it. Sorry Chris, but it's gotta happen. Screw whatever job they told me to do. Screw whatever list I'm filming. I'm out of here. Like, that's what I find suspicious. Even more so than like the physics defying doors, and you know that I hate those. Like, why is he so adamant on recording these messages? Because he was programmed to. It's his #1 directive. That's why he records them at night, so nobody sees the fact that he's a robot. The reason the animatronics attack him was because he was a naked endoskeleton, not because he was wearing a security guard uniform. Maybe the endoskeleton we see in the supply closet is actually the phone guy, and that's why the animatronics, or I guess just Bonnie, don't attack it. They've already dealt with it. Boom! And it's Evan Gregory. We don't know much about Gregory, only that he'll be our player character during Security Breach and that he may be meant to represent the crying child. But other than that, the character is a mystery. This idea, however, that characters can be robots without knowing it makes for interesting theory fodder for Security Breach. In the trailer, we can hear William yell, "You will bring me what I want." And while we don't know what that thing is, with Vanessa and more so Vanny looking for Gregory, it's entirely possible that we are the thing that William wants. But why would that be? At the end of the trailer, we see a robotic arm with purple accent lighting stretching out, almost clawing out from the depths. And this seems to me like William will be getting a full robotic body by the end of the game, only going to further add to the fact that Tape Girl is a robot idea. But also, whose endoskeleton is that? Is it Tape Girl? Vanny? The Stitch Wraith? What if it's ours? What if something inside us is what he needs? Because Gregory is a robot, hence why Glamrock Freddy is helping him, like how Baby could sense that someone else wouldn't die. More on that later. And at 6, Mrs. Afton. We know absolutely nothing about Mrs. Afton. We don't even know if there is a Mrs. Afton. We don't know her name, even though people keep saying that it's Clara. That's still not confirmed. We know nothing. She could have just been the kid's baby mama, for God's sake. There might not be a Mrs. Afton. They could have just been like a one-night stand gone wrong. Those kids may not even be Williams, or at least Elizabeth may not be, considering how Afton in the novels is described as having brown hair and gray eyes, and blonde is a recessive trait, meaning both parents would have to have the gene in order for her to have fully blonde hair, which, I mean, it is possible, but it's unlikely. Yet, we don't know anything about the mother of these children. So this begs the question, did she ever fully exist? Well, we know that Michael has to be biological since the animatronics mistook him for William, but Crying Child and Elizabeth could both be adopted, meaning their mother could be unknown to William, if it was a closed adoption at least, which I'm pretty sure is something that a child killer that wanted to be a father would prefer. And what about a mother they grew up with, if any? Like, did they grow up with a mother? And if they did, what if it was Ballora who was their surrogate mother? In the books, Baby can transform from a passable human into looking like the Baby we know. So what if that's what's going on with Ballora? It would explain her song and the ultimate custom night death line of "You wanted to let me in." It's not because she represents a woman, but rather she was the mother that William built, but had to retire when Circus Baby's Pizza World closed. Deep underground where memories sleep. Halfway through into number 5, William. Whoa, okay, before you freak out, just bear with me here. Do you think it's possible that William Afton artificially enhanced himself with robotic parts? I mean, it wouldn't be the craziest thing that we've seen him do in the series, and because, like, you know, he goes crazy trying to absorb soul metal. And we know that he eventually becomes part robot when becoming Springtrap. So do you think that he could have added robotic parts before he got spring locked, either in an effort to attain eternal life or for, I guess, ease of use when carrying out his misdeeds, either in the game world or in the book series? I think it's entirely possible. Not necessarily that it's true, but that it could be possible. And it would make a lot of sense given that basically every member of his family had turned into part robot at some point. And maybe it was after the original Springlock incident from the books, or there wasn't an original Springlock incident at all, and those scars that are described in the Silver Eyes novel are from robotically enhancing himself. Honestly, with the FNAF series, we never know what's possible and what isn't. If robots can think they're human, humans can surely enhance themselves with robotic parts, right? Like, I feel like that correlates. In at 4, Henry. While William is definitely a disturbed individual, what about Henry? This man has suffered trauma too. Losing a kid is incredibly hard. I've witnessed it firsthand within my own family. That kind of thing can tear families apart and make everything seem hopeless. And I can only imagine what it would be like if it was your only child and they were that young. I can't even think of what Henry and his wife went through, which makes me think he would definitely want revenge. And while he does get it in FNAF 6, or at least he thinks he does, he lets himself burn as well. At first he says it's so nobody remembers what happened within Freddy's, but Henry is a smart guy. He should know that he needs to stick around to make sure that William is dead, because as we all know, he always comes back. So why did he stay? Maybe it's a similar case to William. After all, in his grief, getting revenge would come at any cost. And we know that he is more than willing to die, since he accepts it in FNAF 6. So maybe he enhanced himself to be on the same level as William, or an attempt to get on a higher level, so that he could just ensure his revenge. I don't know, it's just a thought. In at 3, Vanny. Assuming Tape Girl isn't Vanny and was just used to get to Vanny, could Vanny also be a robot? It's been an idea since the beginning. The possibility that Vanny wasn't an alternate persona but just a robotic version of Vanessa was shouting at me in the comments. Mostly because people thought it was canon and confirmed for some reason. But this begs the question, is it possible? With FNAF, anything is. William could be using Vanny's robotic body as a vessel until he can fully take control, or he could have made her prior to dying, or this could just be a costume version of a character we've seen before. I mean, her voice was glitching out in the trailer for Security Breach, so the possibility of her being a robot is there. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait until the game to see, because since that trailer, we've got nothing. In at 2, Michael Afton. Okay, before you flip out, this isn't about my theory, okay? This isn't me suggesting that Michael Afton is a robotic, grown version of Crying Child, okay? I'm just suggesting that there is an awful lot that's suspicious about this character that would be explained away if he was a robot. Firstly, this was already an idea from matpat, so don't get mad at me for suggesting it. The Overlord has already propositioned this before, so don't get mad at me. The obvious place to start is FNAF 6, where Michael willingly stays at the simulated pizzeria in order to release himself and finally die. This is probably because of the remnant in his body. This remnant would have been created in sister location during the scooping, most likely, since it would have caused intense agony, because you know he's being ripped open by a giant robotic arm. That's definitely enough to cause agony to grab onto some metal. But the issue arises with what metal? While it's easily explained away with Ennard, that wouldn't be possible, since Ennard ejects himself during the final cutscene of the game. And even if the remnant latching onto Ennard could keep him alive after he ejected himself until Ennard burned, why stick around in the pizzeria to burn alive? Like, why not just leave and let yourself fade away instead of causing so much more agony in a fire? Like, you literally let yourself burn alive. That's not something you do if you can go quietly. Simple. The agony created by the scooping grabbed onto the endoskeleton already inside Michael, hence why Ennard was able to wrap himself around it, inside of you. It wouldn't be your skeleton, because that would probably get crushed. And why Baby knew that after Ennard left, you still wouldn't die. And finally, in at number 1, anyone. In theory, thanks to the rules that Fazbear Frights has established, anyone could be a robot. or at least an AI inside of a real human body. The second Fazbear Frights book, Fetch's second story, also called Fetch, features a robot known as Lonely Freddy. These are designed to comfort and be with the kids who are alone at birthday parties or whatnot, so that they don't get sad or feel alone. However, in that story, Alec, who has just realized how bad of a person he is, encounters one of these robots in a back room. The robot asks him questions that keep getting more and more personal, until eventually the Lonely Freddy's eyes change from blue to green, Alec's eye color. And then Alec sees his own body standing before him, and he's trapped inside the Lonely Freddy. His body walks away, and winks to Alec while the Lonely Freddy Alec's soul is now possessing is thrown into a dumpster. Inside that dumpster are also dozens of other Lonely Freddys, all quietly screaming for help. Considering how there are dozens of these Lonely Freddys already possessed, and the trash gets taken out every week, at least that's how it should work unless the city is slacking, then there are hundreds of kids who, unbeknownst to their families, are already robots. And that's horrifying. Like, I already have trust issues. I already think that everyone around me is a robot because of the series. This doesn't help.